Hey, 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 greetings everyone. You are tuned into the Trust and Believe Nomad Cast. I'm your host, Mr. Anderson. Thanks for tuning in today on 1 December 2021. We almost there, y'all. We are almost there to the end of December. We're almost there to Christmas. We're almost there to New Year. So keep pushing and moving and leaning forward in everything that you have to do to be successful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, for my opening remarks today, I want to talk about a couple things. For one, to talk about, I don't know if you guys heard, there was a school shooting in Michigan. I believe it was Oxford, Michigan, yesterday, and it was 3 fatalities and students injured, hurt. You know, it's a sad state of affairs where it's like society, it seems like we've become to accept this. And I don't have all the details, and I'm not trying to be breaking news or this reporter or anything. But I just thought about you talk about it for a couple seconds. The person that ended up killing and injuring the other students, supposedly his father bought the weapon in question, purchased it during Black Friday last week, and then this 15-year-old used it. So it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances. You want to go to school and, have fun with the kids. You tease your fellow classmates. You go to school. You have a crush on the classmate. You do all those things that we grew up on that we enjoyed about school. But it's like, you got to watch your back and watch every turn. I know growing up, our high school, I went to Mackenzie High School in Detroit, and a lot of high schools, especially during those times, they were rough and tumble. You had things you had to look out for, but it's like now you can see everything. You hear the news. You can watch everything. So it comes more personable, if you will. And, having kids in school, as a parent, and I can speak for other parents as well, it's a situation, but you got to have that covering over your children, right? So, again, I just wanted to kind of just throw that out there as a parent. I'm deeply, concerned, and, man, that's something you don't want to have to go through. It's something you don't want to have to explain. But again, it's a sad set of circumstances, and I just hope that everything happens the way it should, in a positive light. All right, so moving on. Today I'm talking about a particular event on Wayback Wednesday, talking about when I went and had some future soldiers go with me to the soup kitchen in Detroit. And I'm going to tell that story, but I kind of want to segue that in talking about Thanksgiving. And me and my wife was talking about this last week. It's like, all the celebrities and all the A-list folks, all the superstars and whatever, they always seem like to validate their, status, if you will, they're quickly to come to the neighborhood or wherever and give out toys to the kids, which is a noble gesture. Give out turkeys and everything, and have food for the families, which is a noble gesture. I've done those things. My wife has done those things, and many of you have volunteered your own time and resourced your own efforts as it relates to providing for people that's less fortunate or people that's in immediate need. No issues with that. My only concern is, and this is something I've thought about for years, it's like, why, when we are giving back, why do we always wait? We as a society, why do we always wait to Thanksgiving to start giving back? Why do we always wait to Christmas to start giving back? Because just say you give the poor and unfortunate, people that's in need. You rent a truck, you fill the truck full of turkeys. You bring the turkeys and you pass them out. And it's like you did something. The turkeys are frozen. If they don't have the immediate means to cook and or eat, where are they going to prepare these turkeys? I've come to the point, my analytical thinking is like, you peel back the onion on this, and it's like, it's a great service. It's a great nod to society to be able to do those things, right? But why don't we ever do this in the summertime when people are burning up inside their house? Not literally, but because they have no AC or they have no way to cool themselves off. Why you never see the stories of people dropping off HVAC equipment or having an HVAC operator come service something? It's just something I've just been thinking about. Again, I'm not knocking anybody who's doing that. I've been doing that as well, so there's no issues with it. It's just something I always thought about. And then it could be a news thing. Let's put that story out in the news. If someone's running for election, first thing they want to do, hey, he handed out some turkeys, or he handed out a dinner, or he handed out some toys to some underprivileged children. But what about in the fall? What about in the summer? What about in the spring? Just something I'm thinking about. And, you can leave in the comments, your thoughts on that. But it's just something I was just thinking about. All right. All right. So moving forward again, today for Wayback Wednesday, I'm going to tell you a story about when I took future. So when I was a recruiter in Detroit, I took a group of future soldiers to a soup kitchen in Detroit and had a festive time there, to say the least. So, hey, we do what we need to do to help people do what they need to do. All right. Trust and believe. Wayback Wednesday is back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Trust and Believe Nomad Cast here on a Wayback Wednesday, 1 December 2021. Hey, if you see the link here, the Trust and Believe Nomadcast.buzzsprout.com. If you access that site, you can get all previous 34 episodes of the Trust and Believe Nomadcast. You can go in the right-hand corner. You can access my Instagram page and other pages as well. Download on Apple, download on Google Podcasts, download on Spotify, and all your favorite podcast platforms, on Vimeo, on daggone Patreon, for YouTube, subscribe, do all the et ceteras, right? Support the channel, support the content, because I'm going to keep this sucker going till I can't go no more. All right, y'all. So today on Wayback Wednesday, in the spirit of holidayness, if that's a word, right? I'm going to tell a story about my time as a recruiter in Detroit and how I leveraged that, opportunity as a recruiter to assist folks that were in need. So the story goes, this had to be, I want to say 2000. Let me see. I left recruiting duty in 2013. So this had to be 2011, maybe 12. I think it was 2012, if I'm not mistaken. It was probably a couple of days before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was on a Thursday. I think we conducted this operation on that Tuesday, if not mistaken. And I had to get approval. I had to do so much stuff prior to that. I went down to the Capuchin Soup Kitchen in Detroit and talked with the folks there, talked with the leadership, what my plan was to bring, 10 plus future soldiers there to spend a couple of days before Thanksgiving with some of the veterans, because they had some Vietnam veterans that was there, some Korean War veterans. They kind of, fell on their luck. Homeless folks there, homeless families. So it was a very somber event. So I briefed my plan, my intent to the Capuchin leadership. I wasn't there trying to get a photo op or anything. Just wanted to help out. It was in my spirit to help out during the season and want to help out. And the future soldiers, I asked certain future soldiers as well, and they was on board. They wanted to help as well. And I thought it would be a great bridge to kind of facilitate the art of giving back, facilitate the joy and love of giving back, facilitate the need to give back to people that's less fortunate. So I thought I thought it was great. So I briefed that to the Capuchin Soup Kitchen leadership in Detroit. They was on board. And then I had to brief it to my company commander and my company first sergeant. So I briefed that to him, gave him the 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, and why, what my intent was, how long am I going to be there, would any future soldiers be potentially put in danger, all those sorts of things, right? So I had to do a risk assessment. When you're briefing like military leaders, you really have to go from A to Z. What's the plan? Execute the plan. How you going to do the plan? Rehearse the plan. Schedule. I mean, you got to do so much stuff, right? And I provided them, the ultimate goal was to provide a service, if you will, to the locals. And I know my battalion command sergeant major got wind of it, and he was all for it because he was all about volunteering and everything. So I guess once I had the green light from him, nothing was going to stop me. So finally got approval and everything that Friday. So I talked to the future soldiers and I was ready to execute that Tuesday. So I picked up the future soldiers and I think I had probably about 11 of them with me. We drove down to the soup kitchen probably about 9 o'clock on that Tuesday before Thanksgiving of 2012. And we went there. They briefed us, provided us the aprons, provided us the gloves, kind of, gave us the lay of the land. This is, where we conduct the beverage. This is where the meats are. And we was there we got there about 9, 10 o'clock. We was there probably to about 4 o'clock that day. I mean, we put in some work. We was downloading a food service truck, setting up pallets, stocking the refrigerator, cleaning tables, washing dishes. I mean, we wasn't just there, do the photo op with the turkey and, cheese. We actually put in some work that day. And then when I dropped them all, I still had to go back and recruit. So it is what it is. But we got there, we got the briefing and everything, and they told us there may be some folks that's in there kind of disgruntled, and maybe some folks in there that don't appreciate you being in uniform. And again, I was around, it was some Vietnam veterans in there. It was some Korean War veterans. It was some mothers and fathers in there as well. So we understood the art of respect. We knew, we'll keep our distance, but be sociable as well. We didn't want to come off like, well, I'm better than you. My situation is better than yours. Because at the end of the day, we are one decision away from a soup kitchen. Trust and believe that, right? So once they briefed me, I briefed the future soldiers on expectations. Don't be here talking loud. If a person that's in the soup kitchen is getting loud with you, bring it up to me in the soup kitchen leadership. Don't handle this on your own, because at the end of the day, you guys are teenagers or in your early 20s. You don't really have that, you're not equipped to handle any issues. So leave that to me and also the leadership that was at the soup kitchen. So they understood no issues, right? So so the lady that was at the soup kitchen, she said, hey, you want to start assigning some of your team a task. So I had a guy, he worked the freezer with one of the workers. I had one of the female future soldiers, she did the beverages, and one was, assisting with the cooking. Not so much cooking, but, prepping. If he needed a can of tomatoes, he would open up tomatoes, just providing a service. That's what we were there for. Again, it wasn't for a photo op. It was there to provide an immediate service to folks that's in need. So while we're doing that, I'm kind of just monitoring the situation. I'm going around, I'm sweeping up the floors, and I'm doing all this. And finally, it became time for lunch. We was there for lunch and dinner. So it came time for lunch, and we got the trays ready and everything, and they allowed the patrons to kind of come in, and it was like 10 to a line, so we served them. Everyone's appreciated and everything. So it wasn't a situation where we looked down on people. I mean, it was like, man, it was just a spirit of giving back and doing the right thing, right? And so I noticed a lot of the Vietnam folks, they start talking to some of the future soldiers, right? So I said, let me kind of just, I don't want to intervene, but let me kind of get over here and try to provide some overhead firepower in the event that they kind of talking, out of turn or whatnot, right? So this particular group of Vietnam vets, they was like, hey, you guys are doing the right thing. I fought for my country back in 68. I was just like you. I grew up in Detroit. I left Vietnam and came back. I got strung out on crack and cocaine, and I've been homeless. So these guys were really telling their stories. And so we had to kind of tell our stories as well. And I explained to them, I grew up in Detroit. All of us grew up in Detroit, all the future soldiers that was there, kind of talking about, the things that we had to go through in life, and talk about my life in the military and how it's changed me and this and that. And so it was a good situation. So lunchtime, after lunch, everything was done. So we started prepping for dinner and everything. Dinner started coming up. Now we're starting to get more people. We're starting to get more homeless people that's coming off the street. All walks of life are coming in there, right? So you really had to be humble about this situation. So I remember the future soldiers was bringing plates to this one particular group of vets. It was some Vietnam vets. And I noticed this one guy, he was like just really just staring at me. I mean, just really just looking at me, almost like I don't want to say like an admiration, right? But you could just tell sometimes when there's a little bit of tension, there's a little bit of angst. I could just sense it. So again, trying to be a diplomat and understanding my environment and reading in the room, if you will, I kind of moved away. And I noticed he just kept looking at me. So now, I'm like, okay, this guy's locked in on me visually. Now, there's no way I cannot say something, right? So I walk over there. I got my little broom. I'm sweeping up the other future soldiers in there, servicing the other tables. And, they're doing all their tasks that they need to do. So I say, hey, good afternoon, sir. How you doing? And he just like, don't you dare say good afternoon to me. Sergeant, don't say good afternoon to me. So I'm like, hold on. I had to, get my bearings together because I'm like, hold on, dude. Who you talking to? Then he was like, you the one that got me had me get a court martial back in 68. It's your fault that I didn't make staff sergeant. You're the reason why I got kicked out the army and I had to come back here and I've been on drugs ever since. My wife left me. My kids hate me. I mean, he just going off. So I'm like, whoa, dude, I'm just here sweeping up the freaking floor. I'm not, I have no clue about what happened to you in Vietnam. Because if you say this happened in 1968, dude, I was born in 1974, right? So I kind of got off my diplomatic state, if you will, right? So I wasn't going back and forth with him, but at the end of the day, he wasn't going to freaking disrespect me. And I got all my freaking future soldiers back here looking at me as like, hey, this is the recruiter that's here to protect me, right? So he was like, you're the one that did it. The captain told you I didn't shoot that Vietnamese. I didn't shoot the Viet Cong. He just going off. And I'm like, sir, I'm getting ready to move away from you right now. Because first of all, I wasn't in freaking Vietnam. Like I said, if this happened to you in 68, I was born in freaking 74. So how the freak can I be there? And so it was another leadership person that was part of the leadership team at the soup kitchen. He was a former sergeant, I think in the Air Force. I don't think he was in the Army. But he kind of came in and kind of, moved aside and kind of, extinguished the situation. And it wasn't like, just like, I'm getting ready to fight this dude. There was nothing like that. But then I also had to realize, too, this guy was already on drugs and he probably was upset about a situation. Then he seen me in there. I could have looked like the guy that he's talking about or whatever. And so afterwards, after all that kind of just, tempered down, and I still had to ensure that the future soldiers was doing what they supposed to do. So didn't want to cause too much of a scene. But afterwards, I'm in the corner. I think I was like wiping down the window or doing something. He came over there, him and another guy. He was, the guy that was with him was like, I want to apologize for my friend. He just had these outbursts sometime. Hope you can forgive him. I said, there was nothing wrong. I said, there's no issue at all. I said, but I'm just the type of guy. I don't bother people. I came over there to try to be nice to you. I bring in my future soldiers out here to try to, show some love, if you will, helping out. So I didn't really need that because I was already in the good mood. I was in good spirits. I'm trying to do the right thing. What I thought was to do the right thing, right? So, his friend apologized on his behalf, and the guy, he's kind of just looking like this. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So we kept going. Dinner was served. Everything was great. So afterwards, the leadership that was at the soup kitchen, they was like, we're going to recommend you guys for some awards and everything. And they even talked to our battalion commander and battalion command sergeant major, on our behalf and everything. Sent, I think, a letter and everything. So it was good. I enjoyed that time. It was great. It was giving back. And we used to do that a lot when I was recruiting. We would go to various soup kitchens in Detroit and we would go volunteer. I know my wife, she loaded up our truck one time with a bunch of Meals on Wheels, and her and my daughter had delivered some of those. So we've, I was talking about it earlier in opening remarks. People just do things for the wintertime. We've been part of a lot of those efforts, helping people, taking stuff to the Goodwill and, just doing the right thing for people. I even remember when I was still a recruiter, I used to do things for the future soldiers. future soldiers had issues, I will find a way to mitigate that issue. You know what I mean? So sometimes you have to extend the hand, but you can't extend the hand with a closed fist. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, my father used to always tell me, people that don't want to help always have short arms and deep pockets. Always remember that. But then after that, another part of this story, this same guy, and I don't forget a face. I may forget your name, Doc, but I don't forget a face. So I would say probably a month after that, I was on the west side of Detroit. I think I was dropping off a future soldier or something. And I was on, what was it, Greenfield Avenue, Joy Road and Greenfield. And there was a White Castle. I don't know if it's still there. So I said, you know what, let me stop at this White Castle. I'm hungry. I just dropped this future soldier off, get ready to go back to the station and start, doing whatever I had to do. Let me jump in White Castle real quick. Boom, I'm going to go back to the station. So I get my order and everything. So I'm driving down freaking Greenfield, right? And I get to a stop sign, get to a light, red light. And there was a gentleman in the middle of the street with a sign, the cardboard, homeless, whatever. And I was saying to myself, I said, man, this dude really looks familiar. So I kind of looked and I rolled the window down and the light was still red. So I had a little time to chit chat. I said, sir, do I know you? And he was like, no, I don't think you do. I don't think you do. It was the same guy that was at the daggone soup kitchen when we was on the east side. And now he was out in the middle of the street with a sign on the west side. So I had some extra White Castle cheeseburgers, had an extra fish sandwich that I was eating on the way to go back to work to the station. So in my spirit, I said, you know what? This is for you. Here, take these, because they'll do more for you than they will for me. So I gave them to him. This dude opened up the bag and was like, I told you, I don't like French fries. After that, I rolled the window up and I just freaking drove off. I'm like, this dude is going to have me freaking. I tell you, I'm like, I had some problems with this dude when I was at the freaking soup kitchen trying to feed him, trying to make, his day and the rest of everyone else's day festive. I see this cat a month later when it's cold outside, and out the goodness of my heart, I got some daggone White Castle giving it to him. Then he mad talking about, I told you I don't like French fries. So that right there, I drove off because one, the light was green. There was people behind me. But I thought about it. I say it's the power of drugs that can influence you. The power of, things not going your way in life that can influence you, can influence the way you think, the way you act, the way you approach. And, thinking back, years later, it was like, it's almost, you just have to pray for people like that. Because if this guy, like he said, he was in Vietnam, he got demoted from staff sergeant, could get promoted. He got mad at me because he thought I was the one, but, I wasn't even thought of during that time. And then, trying to extend the hand, trying to extend the olive branch, he get upset. And then I see this guy another month later trying to extend another olive branch, he get upset. So it's kind of one of them things. It's like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I just prayed for him while I was driving off and everything. And again, that was years ago. I don't know where he's at right now. So I hope he got his life together. I hope he got clean. Hope he got sober. Hope he got drug free. I hope he got some mental help. It's kind of one of them things, and things happen in life. And the first thing a lot of people do, they want to blame the people around them. Well, I always talk about this. Everyone has a chance and a choice. There may be some adverse things that happen to you in life, but how do you respond? How do you fix it? What positive elements can you deploy to ensure that, hey, this won't happen to me again? It happened to me once. It won't happen to me again. Because we all fall short of the glory. We all struggle. We all scuffle in life. Life is unforgiving sometimes. But you have to find a way to kind of get over that hump, and if he was a service member, you got VA to help you. You can have, trusted confidants can be in your corner. I don't know the guy's situation. I'm only going by what he told me, but the way he kind of lashed out, in some instances, I don't think it was him. It was more of the drugs. It was more of the things that he couldn't do in life. And probably when he saw me, he probably saw himself back in 1968. You know what I mean? 'Cause that could have resonated a negative thought as well. So again, man, it's one of them things in life. You got to be thankful because all of us, man, are one decision away, one bad decision away from being up in the soup kitchen, from being strung out on drugs, for being falling to alcoholism. We're all one bad decision away. So we got to continue to be smart and uplift the folks that's going through a lot of this. Yeah, it's an unfortunate set of circumstances. But I wanted to tell that story pretty much because it's during the holiday season. I thought it was appropriate. All right, so that was my Wayback Wednesday story. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate looking at the comments. Continue to download, continue to subscribe, continue to like, follow, and all the et ceteras, right? This Wayback Wednesday today, 1 December 2021. Tomorrow, sneaker stories on a Thursday. On a Thursday, right? I'll be talking about some Nike Prestos that I bought back in 2002. Was it 2001 in Germany? And I had an issue with my foot, and I had an issue with a S3 Sergeant Major and an issue with the first sergeant at the time. So I'm going to tell that story tomorrow on Sneaker Stories on the Thursday. But again, today was Wayback Wednesday. Hope you guys enjoyed the story today. It was kind of, talking about the holidays and giving back. And sometimes you're met with aggression. Sometimes you met with a negative force, but how do you overcome it? How do you positively restrain yourself? Because that event could have been ugly. So I had to understand that, hey, let me go ahead and step back and understand his situation. When we talk about reading the room, I had to read the room. Because if I'd have went in there and started wilding out on this guy, they're looking at me like, dang, dude, he's supposed to be the pyramid, the pyramid, the pillar of success and the voice of reason and, the hallmark of the community and doing all these things and the fabric of, of greatness. And you in here getting into it with a guy. So it wasn't nothing, physical. The voices kind of got raised a little bit, but I don't think I was disrespectful in that. I think I handled my own. Because again, it could have been worse. But at the end of the day, I had to understand where he was coming from. But then I made him understand where I was coming from, right? Trust and believe on that. So again, today was Wayback Wednesday. Tomorrow, Sneaker Stories on the Thursday. Stay tuned, stay locked. Have a great day. Be safe. Take care of your left. Take care of your right. Take care of your front. Take care of your back. Do the right thing. You will always be successful. Trust and believe.